Ab Saunders was a cowman and a gunman, most well known as being a member of the Regulators. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. James Albert Saunders was born in Mount Pleasant, Iowa in 1851. Saunders was called Ab for short by those who knew him. Little is known about Ab's early life in Iowa. Tired of the Midwest farm life, in 1875, he traveled to Colfax County, New Mexico, where he was soon joined by Frank and George Coe. The friends intended to settle and build a ranch together. At the time, the corrupt Santa Fe ring was in full swing, and in Lincoln, New Mexico, businessman and former soldier Lawrence Murphy and his partner had a monopoly on business, charging extremely high prices to ranchers and farmers for their goods. It goes without saying that people were not happy with this arrangement. Ab was around 25 when he began working with the Coes on their ranch, and he took part in defending the herds against cattle rustling. In the spring of 1876, Saunders and his cousins met and became friends with Charlie Bowdre, Dick Brewer, and Doc Scurlock. In March of 1876, Billy the Kid, known at the time as either Henry Antrim or William Bonney, allegedly began working at a cheese factory owned by Bowdre and Scurlock in Arizona, and through them he met the Coe cousins and Saunders. In July 1876, Frank Coe and Saunders tracked down cattle rustler Nicus Maris, shooting and killing him in the Baca Canyon. On July 18th, Bowdre, the Coe cousins, Saunders, and Scurlock broke into the Lincoln jail, freeing horse thief Jesus Largo. They then took Largo outside of town and hung him. When Billy the Kid was fired by rancher Henry Hooker, he began working as a cowboy alongside the Coes and Saunders. Through ranching, Ab and his cousins became associated with rancher John Tunstall, who in 1877, with the backing of John Chisholm, opened a rival business to the Murphys, and partnering with Alexander McSween. This enraged Murphy and Dolan, who hired members of both the Jesse Evans Gang and the John Kinney Gang, in addition to the Seven Rivers Warriors, to goad Tunstall into a fight. Tunstall, in turn, hired gunmen of his own, to include Bonney, Bowdre, Brewer, the Coe brothers, Saunders, Scurlock, and others. On February 18, 1878, Tunstall was murdered by Jesse Evans and members of his gang, sparking the Lincoln County War. Ab remained allied with the McSween faction and became an original member of the Regulators, formed to counter the corrupt sheriff, William Brady, who was partners with the Dolan Murphy faction. In March of 1878, the Regulators arrested Frank Baker and Bill Morton, who were present at Tunstall's murder. 3 days later, Baker, Morton, and Regulator William McCloskey were killed by the Regulators at Agua Negra, with McCloskey believed to have betrayed the Regulators. On April 1st, a skirmish occurred between the Regulators and the sheriff and his deputies. Bonney was wounded by Deputy Matthews while attempting to recover the rifle taken from him by Brady. Sheriff Brady and Deputy Hinman were killed. Several days later, the gunfight of Blazer's Mills took place, during which Buckshot Roberts was killed, along with Regulator leader Brewer. McNab was elected as the new leader of the Regulators following Brewer's death. At the end of April, Frank Coe, McNab, and Saunders were resting at the Fritz Ranch, where they were ambushed by members of the Seven Rivers Warriors. In the ensuing battle, McNab was killed and Saunders was shot and badly wounded. Frank Coe was captured, and because of his injury, Saunders was left behind. Two weeks later, the Regulators stormed Seven Rivers, New Mexico, killing gang member Manuel Segovia, who was believed to have shot and killed McNab. And by July, Saunders had made a fair recovery from his wounds, but was not present during the Battle of Lincoln, the largest armed conflict of the Lincoln County War. The Battle of Lincoln is considered by many to be the end of the Lincoln County War. Several others would die in the next 4 years because of their involvement in the war. Saunders eventually moved with the Coes to Colorado, then moved to San Francisco to seek correction of ongoing problems that he continued to suffer because of the severe wound he had received when McNab was killed. Saunders, however, died on February 5, 1883, at the age of 31, while he was undergoing surgery. Saunders was buried in the Lompoc Evergreen Cemetery in Santa Barbara County, California. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you found some value. Be sure to check my playlists and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you.